what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Footcandle Films. Film news and reviews from two guys who really like movies.
This episode is brought to you by the Footcandle Film Society. For a schedule of upcoming screenings and membership information, visit the Society's website at www.footcandle.org.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Footcandle Films here on the Mesh.tv podcast network. Alan Jackson here with Chris Fry, both of us with the Footcandle Film Society, the annual Footcandle Film Festival, and co-host of this podcast, Footcandle Films. Chris, how are you? How's it going?
It's going well. I'm looking forward to talking to you about this film. I had not heard of this film prior to, I think, at the conclusion of last week's podcast. As always, once we're off mic, we kind of say, okay, what are we going to review next week? Mm-hmm. And you threw this title out. I was like, hadn't heard of it. You mentioned two of the stars. I was like, oh, okay, coming to Netflix. That'll be convenient. We don't have to try to work our schedule around going to see it in the theater. So, although that's how we like to see movies, we prefer to see movies that way, but cool. So, yeah.
Chris is alluding to the
opinion.
film.
Yes.
The Last House.
Yes.
With that long lead up to.
Yes.
Everybody hanging by the edge of their seat to hear you say the name of the film. So yes, it's The Last House, which is on Netflix, and it's starring Greta Lee, Wagner Moura, and and then some kids.
And then some kids.
It is some kids.
That's true.
So that is The Last House. We'll be reviewing that film in just a moment, giving a review of that. Alongside that review, once we finish, we're going to do a little digging into some trailers of some new films coming out soon, as well as I just have one news item. We don't do a lot of news because
Trailer tapas is fun.
Trailer kind of, when the trailers are released, that's kind of like a lot of times when we're introduced to the film.
It makes our job easy.
But sometimes we do get some news like I did today about a project that is not to the trailer phase.
Okay.
But it's just an interesting sounding project with a director that I'm fascinated by. So I'm anxious to see what this next film is. Okay. And then, Chris, you have a recommendation for us as well?
I do.
Awesome. Chris gives a recommendation, and typically at the end of our episodes, of something he recommends we ought to try to check out if we have a chance. But let's not delay any further. Let's go right into it and get started with our main review for this episode. It is The Last House.
Hey, no scooter in the house.
Mom, let's go.
Go wait in the car.
Don't rush me.
I'm not. I'm hiding from our children.
It won't open.
I think we're trapped in here. We're sealed in.
What the hell is going on?
I don't know. But we are safe. We are in our home.
Oh my God.
It's not just us. The whole world. But most importantly, we have each other.
I saw someone outside today.
What is something out there? It's keeping us trapped.
What do we do?
We survive. This is going to end one day.
The Last House, categorized by IMDb as a psychological sci-fi thriller, tells the story of a family of four suddenly sealed inside their house with no way out. The family with parents, played by Greta Lee and Wagner Moura, must work together to survive against both their dwindling resources and the mysterious threat that is keeping them trapped. I'm curious, Alan, to start this off, to kind of see what your history is with both the writer and the director of this film, the director, Louis Leterrier, and then the writer, Matthew Robinson. So let's start with director Louis Leterrier. His previous works are You can just say, seen it, haven't seen it.
Okay.
The Transporter from 2002.
Have not seen it.
Okay. The Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton prior to really integrating into the MCU kind of in 2008.
I have seen it.
Okay. Now You See Me, the original Magician starting of that franchise. I think it's 3 films of that.
Oh, I've seen it.
So 2013, you've seen that one. And then most recently in 2023, Fast X, or I guess Fast 10, depending on how you want.
Continuing my trend of not seeing any of the Fast and the Furious
None.
movies outside of the first one.
Okay.
Seen the first one.
Okay.
Outside of that one, no, I have not seen it.
Okay. Now, let's transition over to writer Matthew Robinson. Invention of Lying from 2009. It's a comedy, I believe, starring the original Ricky Gervais. I believe is who's.
Oh, no, I did not see that one.
Okay. Then there is 2020's Love and Monsters.
Did not see it.
Okay. And then Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die from 2025, released this year. I actually recommend it on the podcast. Alan, have you caught up with that film?
No, I have not.
No.
I've not seen it yet.
Okay. All of this to say, I've seen some of those films, haven't seen others. But I wasn't familiar right off the bat. Like, I had to look up both of their filmographies about what they had worked on. I will go ahead and say right off the bat, The Last House is not going to go down as my favorite of either of their works. Don't know what I'd really say. I think I remember thinking Ed Norton as the Incredible Hulk was at least interesting. I think I looked it up. I gave it 3 stars. I was quite favorable on Matthew Robinson's Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. I liked that film. He wrote that. He didn't direct it, but he was a writer. I feel like this film was a script that maybe was towards the bottom of Mr. Robinson's pile that he had, and he just kind of threw it out there, and maybe it was a chance for Leterrier to work with Netflix, and he's like, sure, I'll do this. Kind of like low effort, or at least to me, it felt very low effort. I thought this film was pretty terrible.
Okay.
Question, and then before I get to too much, I wonder, I'll toss it back to you because just did what you'd seen, what you hadn't seen. Of the films we've reviewed recently, specifically films that have gone straight to a streaming service. Recently reviewed on the show, we have done In the Hand of Dante, which was Netflix, and then we did Outcome, which was Apple TV. Both you and I were not highest on.
Correct.
Here Comes The Last House. Alan, is this a rebound for streaming, or are you kind of where I am, where I would have trouble saying which one of those I thought was, quote, the better film of all of them? Because those are kind of on par with how I feel about this. Take it away, Alan. What were your thoughts for The Last House?
I didn't think the film was terrible, but it was not good.
Okay.
There are a few redeeming elements out of it that at least kept my engagement through 2/3 of the film.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's not a good film. And by the end, it has just completely fallen apart. And honestly, to the point where I had to actually ask my spouse a couple days later, I'm like, remind me, how did that movie end again? It's like, and she described it back to me. I'm like, oh yeah,
Right.
that is how it ended. Okay. So that's the kind of vibe from it. Look, I love the premise. I love the setup.
Sure.
I'm like, it's kind of what got me hooked on it. I realize now that I think they released this film intentionally to kind of ride, we've got the end of Oak Street coming out in I think another week or so in the theaters, which is like a family kind of in a house situation, neighborhood, kind of a, family drama, put in a sci-fi element type of thing. And I just wonder if maybe The Last House is like, let's kind of go ahead and just kind of push this out to get a little bit of this momentum going on stuff, or to kind of beat another film that might be seen as a little similar in tone or style. And it's a shame because I think it's got 2 really good leads, actors, Greta Lee, Wagner Moura. I think they're giving it their best with what they've got. But I will say, as much as I love the premise of the film and overall the conceit of the film, the concept of the film, like if you were describing this film to somebody, I'm like, yeah, okay, that sounds interesting. But then when it actually gets played out on screen, it's tedious. It's It's a film that
Silly.
can't quite decide which direction it wants to go. You've got two really good actors that unfortunately are given some really trite dialogue and scenes that have to act out. And it's like, oh no, this is the scene where the family is going to act silly and dance and have a little party. And now, okay, now this is the scene where things are serious and we have to have serious talks. It's like there's no gradation. There was no like development. Honestly, there's a part in this film where it goes from truly one scene of, oh, we're surviving. We're doing great. This is awesome. And the very next scene is like, we're hungry and we're starving and we can't. I'm like, there was no, if you want us to go along for the ride, you've got to build things and you can't just drop in scenes haphazardly and ask us to react to them. So it's just, again, I like the concept. I was generally intrigued by the concept until I realized what the concept was, which it reveals about halfway through the movie. And at that point, I'm like, okay, well, unless they can do something really interesting with this idea, then I'm kind of checked out. And unfortunately, they did not do anything really interesting with it. And I was completely checked out. So I'm not going to say terrible, only because I did enjoy some of the lead up scenes to what was going on. I thought the first 20 minutes or so, like, it kind of had me, but then it lost me. So I is a subpar movie. It is not a good movie. So, Chris, I want to hear a little more thoughts from you.
It's
gave
interesting.
the definition of terrible, but please feel free to expand.
And I think it's almost as if, I mean, the notes I have, you've kind of ticked them off, the problems I had. Troubled tropes, a dance party to lighten the mood. Yep. When that happened, I was like, okay, yes, I like the Cure song they played, but
yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of like, okay, that to me is reaching in just like a color by numbers way of showing something that like lots of other movies have done at this point. Not that original. You mentioned, I rarely in a bad film, one that I don't like because of the script or because of something, like even in Hand of Dante, let's say, I don't really feel sorry for the actors as I'm watching it. Mm-hmm. But as I was watching this film, Greta Lee and Wagner Moore, they would deliver dialogue, and I'm like, I know that had to be. I just feel sorry for them because the dialogue is clunky. It's just, you can see the gears, the plot stuff moving forward, and it's just not interesting. And I'm like, God, I really hated it for them, and I don't fault them. Like you said, I feel like they're doing the best they can. There's a shift late in the film where then we just get this voiceover narration that also made me groan, where like there's a transition of,
well, the voiceover was at the very beginning.
Okay.
And then it disappears. Then it came back like 2/3 of the way in the movie right. Or some halfway through, kind of randomly.
Yeah.
And right.
And so that, it bothered me. I will say at the very end of the film, I have to kind of give the filmmakers maybe some credit here because they kind of end it as if there could be a sequel, and I'm like, you know what? Good on you. You're optimistic. You're optimistic. You're saying this is going to happen. And I'm like, it's like, I'm glad that you had enough faith in this project. And it's, I get it. You're working hard. You're trying to make a good film. Nobody tries to make a bad one. But like they could have just kind of concluded it. And they're like, no, we're going to have an open that if Netflix wants to invite us back. I'm like, okay, good on you that you did. But it was kind of eye rolling, but in a way I had to admire him for it. You said the premise that they get stuck in this house.
Yeah,
and
did we actually mention the premise and the setup?
I kind of said they stuck in, but I didn't say like why they were suddenly sealed in the house.
And I don't think we should say because
okay.
That's like one of the only enjoyment to get out of the film is to actually try to figure out what is causing it. Although I will tell you, once you learn, it is kind of a letdown disappointment. But anyway.
Okay, so you say I can't spoil it. Well,
look, all right, fine, spoil it.
So,
nobody's
okay.
I mean,
it's Chris. If you're looking for something and you like science fiction, I am. Yeah, I'm going to try to remain a little.
Everybody just. If you have been waiting for months to watch The Last House,
if you somehow knew about this
top
film.
of your watch list, and you now are listening to this episode for some reason before you decide to watch the movie, just fair warning, Chris is going to spoil. I'm going
to spoil the threat.
Yes.
Okay, I won't spoil how the movie ends, but yeah, The shift of the threat from sticky rain to walking octopus was so shaky and poorly handled, and I thought less interesting. It could have been an Abyss adjacent update where the world is kind of upset or is taking back this kind of thing, and like that's what's the rain, because it's just raining constantly, and that's forcing them to stay indoors because it seals the house. Okay, there's something there, but then you shift to where it's like a gaggle of Davy Jones clones from Pirates of the Caribbean. To me, it felt like that's what, just not as interesting. And
well, see, okay,
just
there's some ways to make a good movie out of this.
Okay.
I thought about this because this is what my thing is like, look, if I'm going to watch a bad movie, I at least want to try to see if I can figure out a way to make it good.
Is it changing the title from The Last House to Chimney Fishing?
Chimney. I have questions about chimney fishing. We
So
will
do
explain
I.
that for people.
We'll get to
here in a
chimney
minute.
fishing. Okay.
So I think, okay, I'm cool with the concept of, all right, a majority of the earth is covered in water, and there's like depths of the oceans that maybe we don't always know. And yes, maybe if there are creatures that inhabit the oceans, maybe they are a little ticked off at humans for the way we've kind of treated their oceans or whatever. Okay, I can buy that. I kind of like the idea of an uprising of like these ocean creatures deciding, you know what?
We've had it.
We're done. We're taking over.
Okay.
Okay. If that was the concept of the film, we're watching a family and all of a sudden they're being invaded by these creatures across the entire world. And for whatever reason, this house, they are able to stay protected and they are truly like the surviving family with all this going on. And if that's kind of set up and established, and now we're following this family as they are trying to survive, being this one lone family with this going on outside, there's something there. That's actually, I think, an interesting film. But then you have to go ahead and let them know this is the threat to you. This is the situation. And everything we're doing as a family is to protect ourselves from what we know is going outside. The problem with this film is it wants to spend so much time where the family doesn't know what's going on, but seems completely okay with it. Like that whole first half of the movie, I was kind of surprised. I'm like, why are they still kind of being cool with all this? It's like they're locked in their house. They cannot escape. They can't get out. And they just like within the first day, they're just like, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this and we're going to do that. And we're going to make sure we're all good. I'm like, I'm sorry. No human family people would react this way. It would be freaking out. It would be mania to figure out what is going on.
Right.
So if you establish this threat, that this situation early on and say, this is what's going to happen. These are creatures outside and they're trying to track down all the humans and you have to stay protected and silent. Okay. I like that. Then don't show me the creatures. Okay. Like truly let them be a hidden threat that I'm dealing with as a family, and then explore the family dynamics of how do we, in this family, we are now the only family left that we know of in this area. And we are cut off from the outside world because we cannot leave this house because we are trapped in here.
Right.
How do we deal with this constant threat? See, the problem is they introduced the threat of these creatures very sloppily. Like, it's like it took a while to even figure out, oh, they are trying to insinuate there's something out there.
Besides sticky water.
Right. And it's like it just was really clumsy the way it went about. Anyway, there's a decent movie that could be made out of a core concept. But again, they made the wrong choices in the way to do this, and it didn't work. So
yeah, and it just I agree. There are interesting ideas, but just not kind of fully baked, fully processed and realized, and it just comes across as being just not that great. I mean, I think as well, maybe if this film had come out, you're right. I guess it probably is released to kind of catch on the coattails of what's going to be the end of Oak Street.
I mean, that's maybe a little bit of a reach, but it just seems kind of weird that it came out like a week before another very similar family in a sci-fi situation in the suburbs kind of came out. It just seems a little odd.
It does. While I was watching the film, I was reminded of a different filmmaker, different film, obviously, but Signs, M. Night Shyamalan, because it's like family, aliens, in a house, trapped, all this kind of stuff. And you learn like dynamics about the family. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, yeah, this is like Signs, but with water, like ocean thing. and just it didn't work. But then I was like, well, why might something like this be of interest? And maybe this was also an idea that it was kind of like a corollary to something that everyone had been through recently as 2020, COVID.
Yeah,
trapped inside a house. And it's like, okay, and like the family trying to do the best they do with food, and then, kids not being able to go to school. And so
Right.
But it just, it was like all these ideas, but then trying to make them mesh and work together just didn't happen.
Right.
for
Agreed.
me. So,
Agreed. And I thought by the end it was it just got pretty ridiculous.
Oh,
So,
the resolution of it totally,
Yeah.
we're not going to spoil. Yeah, I spoiled the creatures, but did not work for me. It's like, that's it? That's going to be the
Right.
way that this is going to end?
Exactly.
Really? Okay.
And again, if they had leaned in deeper into whatever theme they were trying to establish about environmental issues or the way humans treat the environment around them, I think there's something you can play off of there. And I think there could have been a way to build a resolution that kind of stemmed off of that more, but it didn't. Actually, kind of forgot all that. It's just they're helped because one creature liked them. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, question mark, yes,
I mean,
essentially.
that's basically it. So,
Yeah.
no, this was a miss of a movie, and it's a shame because I really bought into the concept, and it's the type of film I like and want to enjoy, and I really like the two leads. So it's just disappointing all the way around. Although I will say I did not realize it was a Mr. Louis. What's his name?
Leterrier, yeah.
Did
The
not
director.
realize he was the director until I
Okay.
saw his name flash up on the credits at the beginning.
Okay.
That automatically put me
So
in
you
warning mode.
you did know kind of who he was.
Oh, I knew he was.
Okay.
I will never forgive Mr. Leterrier.
You did not like the Hulk?
No, I thought the Hulk was
Okay.
actually okay. I thought it was a little bit of an underrated film. I think it's actually okay.
Now You See Me.
Now You See Me. Now You See Me, I despise as a movie.
Okay.
As a concept.
Oh,
as
a concept.
As a franchise, as a whole big thing. This idea of, I don't want to get on my soapbox on that movie. No, we have things to get to in the show.
Sure,
I want
sure.
But just know I do not like that film at all. And I'm very angry about that film. And so I do hold that against him.
Okay.
So when I saw his name pop up on the credits, I did not see that before. I'm like, oh no. So please.
Fair enough.
Please no.
Okay.
So anyway, that's that.
I'll say on a positive note, I will
yes.
say one thing that I
Sure.
did think towards the, there is some scenes with this house towards the end. Now, granted, I know, with technology and everything nowadays, maybe there was none of this and it was all just green screen, which probably a lot of it was for safety for the actors. But what I wasn't expecting, I think they actually had some underwater work for Wagner Moura, for the kids, for Greta Lee. And I was like, oh, that's something that I don't think Greta Lee had ever done before in her career, is have to do action sequences underwater and hold her breath. Granted, I know they have people with respirator breathers right off camera, so they're but still the physical having to do. I was like, well, that's got to be interesting for them to do. So that some of that to me I was thinking was kind of, and I'm sure that's probably expensive. So that was like, oh well, okay, they're stepping up a little bit of interest there. So I thought some of that stuff looked good if it was real. It may have all been digital,
but I also don't think it was edited and displayed really well, so it just made those scenes really chaotic and kind of hard to follow, I felt like. So but I mean, sure, give credit for them trying it,
trying to do it, so,
but it's just no. So I can give a positive.
Okay.
I always think it's admirable when you can cast children, different actors at different ages, and I totally buy that.
Yeah, and
they are
the older son.
Yeah.
I thought he really looked like Wagner Moura. I haven't. Looked
that too. I
was like, whoa.
I bought this family. I'm like, not only we see them at age.
Yeah, really young.
Really young, 8 years old for the girl and 12 years old for the boy. And then we see them again at 13 and 17. And I bought it. I'm like, yeah, I think that's the same kids. And I do believe that they came from these two parents. I'm
yes.
like, yep.
No, again, yes.
Right.
Good casting.
Yeah, casting was
Unfortunately,
good.
there wasn't a lot for them to do. And, but agreed. Yeah.
So we can find some positives. So
there you go. Well, let me ask you, Alan. Okay. So I can go ahead and say the next work from Mr. Leterrier is to do Fast Forever, coming out in 2028. They're already filming it. I don't think you're going to be on board for that because you won't forgive him for Now You See Me. So probably won't have any interest in that.
I'm not going to fault him on the Fast franchise. I have not. Okay. I cannot properly evaluate his work on the Fast and the Furious franchise. It may be okay. I don't know.
Okay, but you won't run to the theater just because you haven't been invested in the franchise. Okay,
but
Mr. Robinson, his next work, no date set on this, but he is writing Edge of Tomorrow 2.
Yeah, but I think
that's Tom Cruise.
I think that's been something on the table a long time. Okay. I think they started talking about writing a sequel
after the first one made so much money.
Came out.
Sure.
So I don't know if I hold out hopes on that. Look, I liked the first Edge of Tomorrow. He didn't write the original one, right?
I don't think so, but I'm not positive.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we'll see. I don't have a lot of. That's just been way, way long in development phase. I just don't know if that's something we'll really honestly ever expect to see. But we'll see. All right. Well, that is The Last House on Netflix. Look, here's the thing. If you have a Netflix subscription, it's technically free. Like, you've already paid your Netflix subscription. Do you want to sit and have a movie on in the background for an hour and a half that you don't really need to mentally be engaged with, and you like these two actors and you like seeing them up on the screen? I'm saying it's not a good movie, but I'm also going to say that, some people may get a little bit of enjoyment out of some moments of it and some parts, but for free.
I would say, like, if you're looking for your kids probably need to be at least in high school because there is some like drug use and stuff in there. The parents smoke some pot.
Oh, right. I forgot about that scene. Yes.
But other than that, which is probably why they were trying to push to get a PG-13 rating. I mean, there's some like jump scare type stuff, but outside of that, if your old high school kids are maybe into like science fiction or like thriller movie, and you want to watch a movie, with you're older, then maybe, you're like, and it's like you say, it's free on Netflix, then maybe you would enjoy this like sci-fi thriller type thing.
I think there's some people who could probably find a little bit of enjoyment from it, but it's just not, it was more of a disappointment for me that it just didn't do more with what it had on its plate, because I think it could have pulled something off pretty good out of this.
I will say there was one moment that, they have some attempts at humor, like, the dance party or whatever. There was a moment when the father is struggling to find things to do, and he finds some DVDs, and he finds a Netflix envelope that obviously he never returned, and he just kind of like crumples it and throws it.
Which
I thought that was funny.
I mean, that was obviously they knew this was going to be showing on Netflix.
Right, like, they did. But I thought that was funny because it's like, oh yeah, I never returned it, and like throwing it. I thought that actually got a laugh.
We didn't mention you mentioned it, but we didn't go into details with the chimney fishing.
Oh. How dare we? Because as soon as they said, I'd already kind of checked out of the movie, but they said chimney fishing. I was like, oh, that would be an amazing title for this movie, because Last House, how generic is that? But chimney fishing.
Well, see, just again, we have to give background to people, because we kind of mention these things and not really give any context to it. There's a plot point where they're trying to figure out how to get food.
Yes.
And there are animals on the outside of the house, but they are unable to leave the house. So therefore they have to figure out a creative way to get food into the house.
Yes.
And the only thing that they can actually get escape out of, which I didn't understand either, was the chimney. The chimney was open. So I guess the water creatures forgot about chimneys.
Well, at one point, they must have forgotten.
Like,
they must have forgotten.
Oh, we didn't realize these houses had a hole in the top. So, we completely.
And the rain falling from the sky, in theory, would have sealed said chimney.
I would have thought so, but anyway. Wagner Morris' character is an engineer, which we're told many times that's why.
Oh yes,
he's able to build things, and he builds contraptions that they somehow get out the chimney, lowered down to the ground through a pulley system, and it's a trap where an animal can go in, hit the trap, but they have to reel it in from inside the house.
Yes.
So it's chimney fishing.
Yes.
I'll tell you, I know we're going on this movie way too long. I will say, the few little moments where they're actually trying to creatively come up with solutions, I actually thought were pretty interesting.
It's kind of like MacGyver mixed with science or whatever. Yeah,
when Wagner Moura's character is actually like trying to craft this trap, and they try it and it doesn't work, and then they have to go back and fix it and revise it. And I'm like, okay, this is actually something. I'm not hating this part. This is actually okay. It's like, this is slightly entertaining. And, I kind of would have liked to see more of that, like more of ingenuity of like, what are we going to do to survive inside this house?
Okay, let me add a point on that. Okay, and then we will move on because, like you said, we spent way too much time. But that's what we do. We talk about movies. Something that could have helped the film, which it being PG-13, they're probably not going to do. Let Wagner Moura's character as the father go dark. And what I mean,
kind of lose his mind a little bit.
And what I mean by that is because they show I guess, is it a dog or is it just a wolf? It's a wolf, right? That's on the outside. Okay. The wife sees it. He sees it. They kind of are, they're like, oh, go, you're on the outside, be free, like good luck for you, because they realize that thing's looking for food. They're looking for food. They're trapped. And it goes off. They manufacture some food inside their house.
Yes.
Twice. And once the son does it, once the father does it first. Some leftovers that they can't eat are sympathetically put outside for said for the wolf. Later, when he starts fishing, I'm curious because it's like at one point you were sympathetic to things outside, and then now you're like, we're hungry, we're going to start getting food. And then even at a later point, things seem to be kind of happy. They figured everything out. They have, and the daughter kind of questions like, wait a second, why are we continuing to chimney fish when we don't need to? And the father's like, whoa, and I'm like, if they had continued his descent into madness or like obsessive, then maybe that would have worked for me. But then it was like, it didn't.
They tried to have him go dark for like one scene. There was like one moment where it's like, oh, they totally shifted his personality, and then it's like, then he was fine after that. Like,
he kind of went mad dad and was like yelling at the kids.
Yeah, which again was another checkbox. Yep, you got to do it. That's you got to have the ups and downs of the family drama if you're going to be trapped in a house like this. So
sure.
Anyway, okay, we're done. We got to move on.
That's the last comment on the last.
That was the last comment on The Last House on Netflix. See it if you want to. All right. So with that, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we've got a couple of trailers and a news item to do and Chris's recommendations. So stay tuned. You're listening to Foot Candle Films. We'll be right back in a minute.
Want to discover great podcasts or maybe even start one of your own? Welcome to The Mesh, Western North Carolina's podcast network built for creators and listeners alike. From local sports and business to comedy and culture, The Mesh is home to unique voices and fresh perspectives. Do you have something you want to say? The Mesh can help you bring your podcast to life with the tools, support, and platform you need to be heard. Check us out at themesh.tv, where great podcasts live and new ones are born.
Hello and welcome back to Foot Candle Films here on the Mesh.tv podcast network. Chris and I had our longer discussion on The Last House, much longer than needed or required, but it was fun conversation.
Listeners, if you know of another podcast that talked about The Last House for as long as we did or longer,
please let us know.
Let us know.
Yeah,
we're curious.
We'd like to connect up with them and swap notes.
Right.
So, all right, let's move on to some other discussions, mainly looking at films yet to come out. We like to explore trailers, although we have a love-hate relationship with trailers. We know that sometimes the trailers can give away too much. We don't like trailers that detail the entire plot of the film or show scenes from every moment of the film. Yeah, we like good teaser trailers.
We're a fan of teasers. Yeah.
Teasers are great. Give us a taste of the film. Let us know kind of the style, the vibe that we're getting into before you give away the entire plot. So we are going to watch these. I've got 2 trailers to watch. Sandwiched in between them will be a news item I've got.
Okay.
This is labeled as a teaser trailer. We'll see how teaser it is or if it's truly like in trailer territory. But this is one I am interested and curious about. It is a remake of the film The Thomas Crown Affair.
Okay.
Now, The Thomas Crown Affair, I know for a fact has been made twice. If it's been made more than twice, I'm just not aware of it. But I know that there was one. I think it was Steve McQueen and Faye Dunaway.
Okay.
Is that it? The Thomas Crown Affair, the original.
It sounds like that's something that could have happened.
I need to go look up and see if I'm correct in saying that, but I'm pretty sure it's Steve McQueen.
But you mentioning those two actors being in this film makes me want to.
Yeah, Steve McQueen, Faye Dunaway from 1968.
I need to go check that out because I've seen the remake that came after it. But okay.
Yeah, the Thomas Crown Affair. That was back in 68. And then we also had the one with Pierce Brosnan and Rene Russo in 1999.
Which I thought that was really good.
That was a good movie.
Me not being as into movies in 99 as I am now. I mean, I was into movies. I did not realize at the time that was a remake. I think I thought that was like an original property or whatever.
So this one, the Thomas Crown Affair, little interesting take on it, which I like. Michael B. Jordan starring as Thomas Crown.
Okay.
So he coming off of
Sinners.
Sinners was the last thing, award-winning Sinners, and I think his performance award-winning as well. And so this is his follow-up to Sinners, but even more exciting to me is he's also directing it. So,
is he also going to play the Thomas Crown role and the romantic?
He's going to
play both characters.
He's going to play both the villain
and his love interest
and Thomas Crown. Yes. It's going to be a very interesting film.
Okay.
So as a director, I think he's only done one other film.
Okay.
And I think that was Creed. Hold on. It was Creed 3.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
He directed Creed 3, which he also starred in. So he is kind of used to starring in his own directorial efforts. And I think that's the only thing he's directed other than now the Thomas Crown Affair.
Okay.
So let's watch the teaser trailer. It's Thomas Crown Affair. It has Michael B. Jordan. Adria Arjona is the co-lead on this. And Kenneth Branagh will be in this film as well.
Interesting.
So with that, let's watch the teaser trailer and see what we think of this so far.
I've been taking risks my entire life. But last night, it was different. I felt alive. My heart was racing. Every step was part of a plan. Things slowed down. It was silent. And I was surprised how easy it was. But I'm not finished yet. That's what excites me. I just had to come over and introduce myself. Thomas Crown.
I know exactly who you are.
All right, so that is the teaser trailer for the Thomas Crown Affair starring and directed by Michael B. Jordan. Chris, any just immediate quick reactions on that?
It looks interesting. I thought the trailer was well edited. I like the whole like footstep motif kind of building up anticipation with like the sound effects and the soundtrack, kind of him constantly walking towards pieces of art or, walking towards his goals, his missions. I'm going to give it a shot. It looks well shot, very slick. Mm-hmm. I am there for Kenneth Branagh in his Bond villain phase. He was that way in Tenet.
Yes.
To some lesser extent, because not a villain, but kind of an idiot, I guess, in the Harry Potter movie that he was in.
Right.
So it's interesting. That's kind of like his role, but it looks like he seems to be playing a direct adversary to Michael B. Jordan's character. And then you mentioned Arjona. I have liked her in the things I've seen her in. She looks very capable of playing like the antagonist to his, criminal trying to do stuff. So, yeah, it looks good. Going into something that we've already seen a previous version of, I can see a lot of audiences or, people out there probably, because it's been a long time, you said 99, so here we are in 2026, there's been enough of a gap that an updated version, could be interesting. So yeah, it looks good. So
Cool. Yeah.
What'd you think?
No, I'm with you. I think it looks good. I think they're obviously. I got to believe that there's a little bit of a there's a dearth right now due to the lack of James Bond, the lack of any clarity on where James Bond is as a franchise. I think they see this.
Is this Michael B. Jordan's bid to be the next James Bond?
No, not even that. Just to say we can create the kind of film that a Bond film could be, should be, was supposed to be. I mean, I personally feel like that if this movie is a success, they're trying to build it. They'll build it as a franchise.
Okay,
that's just my gut feel.
And
that's and this is the kind of role I think a Michael B. Jordan wants to have, is like a franchise type role of a character like this, where you get some cool action scenes, you get some really great spy-like intrigue, criminal theft, heist type of stuff. I don't know. I could see that building as like that be the goal. So in other words, hey, if the Thomas Crown affair is good, the next you have the Thomas Crown dilemma. Then you have the Thomas Crown something. It's like it's kind of structured for that already, the way that it's set up in this teaser.
Let me offer something. Mm-hmm. I agree with everything you're saying. Mm-hmm. You and I have mentioned, I liked it more than you, the film Relay, but it was somebody where they had a job and they're very good at their job, and so therefore it's enjoyable to watch. This guy was like would listen to devices and would do all this work through using TTD devices that are normally used for deaf folks, and he would do all this communication back and forth.
Right. Yes.
Right,
yes,
so
yes,
that
sorry.
film.
Yeah.
But watching, and somebody like a James Bond, although I got tired of that because it's, it's a franchise, there have been so many of them, but somebody very good at their job being able to execute it, and it's like, how can they elude captors? Like that film Crime 101 that was not that great, that we saw, that had, it was a criminal that would do all these crimes, so that one wasn't interesting, didn't work. But this looks like it has the capability. I was thinking to myself, what is it going to be different other than the update? What if at the end of this, he actually goes to jail? And then that sets up him breaking out for like the second sequel.
Yeah, it could be.
Well, I think that could be a very interesting, like you like him the whole time, but then he actually does get caught. Yeah. Or even better, he gets caught on purpose because he's like, he is in love with the girl or whatever. So just, there you go. Studio notes, not too late. Maybe it hasn't been released.
Right. Yeah,
Make it happen.
There's still time for re-edits and reshoots, so sure. All right, well, that's the Thomas Crown Affair. That is coming out March 2027. So we're still a ways off.
So there you go.
9 months out.
Those are some notes if you've done some preliminary screenings and you want.
Things.
Yeah, there you go, Michael B. Jordan. Make it happen.
All right.
Looks good.
Let's go into a bit of a news item. So no trailer with this one, but just because it's still very early. But I'm interested in Ari Aster as a director.
Oh wow!
As a filmmaker.
Okay, I haven't even heard of. Yeah.
And I like kind of knowing what projects to work on, because even if his films don't always 100% work for me, I'm still intrigued by them enough that I'm like, I want to see them.
Well, his last one was kind of a sidestep from what we had kind of known him to do. It was like horror stuff, but then he did, is it Eddington or Effington? I can never
Eddington.
Okay, it's Effington's the Ben Folds song.
Correct.
but yeah, so that was kind of a different lane for him to get in. So, okay.
Well, so the next film he's got coming up is a film called Scapegoat.
Okay.
And it had recently announced that Scarlett Johansson will be leading the cast of this film. Now they've announced that Academy Award nominee Jacob Elordi is in talks to star as well.
Okay.
So we've got Scarlett Johansson and Jacob Elordi in the new Ari Aster film Scapegoat, which will also be released by A24, just like I think all of his others have. According to Variety's article on this, it's the logline for the film is being kept under wraps.
Oh.
There's plenty of early speculation about the plot. Some say the thriller is about a doctor who operates on an internet famous person.
And it goes wrong.
Well, we don't know, but I would assume so.
If it goes right, where's the story?
Or some others have said it's more of a sci-fi romance. And then still others are saying it's like a traditional drama for Astra. I'm like, a traditional drama?
Doesn't
It doesn't
sound
sound like something Astra does. But anyway, so nobody knows what this film's about.
Okay.
But it is, all we know right now is the name is Scapegoat.
Okay.
And it does have Scarlett Johansson and Jacob Elordi.
Of the possibilities you've mentioned, it seems most likely the idea of it being like a doctor who something goes wrong with a surgery with the internet, like that seems like a plausible.
Yeah, that sounds like
plausible
an
idea.
That
It sounds like something that could be.
Yeah, but anything goes.
Sure.
We have no idea.
Sure.
And I don't even have a date or anything on like. Obviously, they're just now casting, so they haven't even started filming yet. So it's still a ways off. But I'm just I'm intrigued. It's nice to know another one's on the way.
Sure. Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah, I know. I liked Eddington. I think more than you. I found more out of it. But we got to, I mean, no matter if you liked it or didn't like it or whatever, I mean, it's still an intriguing watch and it's still an interesting watch and something to talk about. So that's always good with Astra films.
Sure.
Same with Beau is Afraid. You know, it's like.
You definitely liked Beau is Afraid more
did.
than me.
Yeah. So yeah, Ari Aster. Excited to see his next film there. Let's see. Okay, now we're back to trailers.
Yes.
One more trailer to go. This is one. Has one of the longest titles of a film we've had recently, but I'm really curious to see this trailer. The Only Living Pickpocket in New York. That is the name of the film. It stars a Mr. John Turturro. John Turturro plays an aging thief.
Okay.
Whose old school tactics become less effective in an age of two-factor authentication and technology. So it's
not a comedy, just a drama.
It's supposedly a crime drama.
Okay.
It is from a director, Noah Segan, it's his first film directorial debut. The IndieWire article about it says it is an unapologetic love letter to the city, New York, obviously. Filled with locations and characters that evoke the city's rich history, documenting the passage of time while exploring what made its past errors so great. So with that going on, and let's see, also in this film, we have Giancarlo Esposito, we have Tatiana Maslany, and we have Jamie Lee Curtis. Oh, and Steve Buscemi.
Okay.
So,
wow.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of
interesting cast.
Interesting
there.
people, brand new director. I like the premise of the film. I like John Turturro. So let's take a look at the trailer for The Only Living Pickpocket in New York.
You know what you did wrong? It wasn't the lift. You did that swell. You need something to hide it. Sometimes you got a newspaper or a magazine.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm full of them. You got to take it day by day. We're everywhere if you keep an eye out.
Hey!
When you come into work with us old dogs.
You got to learn some new tricks.
Nothing's as good as a 5-finger discount. Watches?
That's Fugazi.
You get platinum cards.
Yeah. Even suckers get a day off sometimes.
All right, honey. I'm sorry we lost the day together. Maybe I'll grab a tape at the library. Something with Barbara Stanley. Well, let me get it for you.
So that was the trailer for The Only Living Pickpocket in New York from Sony Pictures Classics and first-time director Noah Segan. Chris, your thoughts on the trailer?
Interesting. I think it will be, if we end up reviewing it, it'll be one of those things like, it was okay. I think it's going to be with the premise and being love letter to New York, which I can see how that follows through on that. I think it'll be hard to achieve something more than that, more than just kind of a simple film, which no problem with that. The cast looks interesting, though. And it does look like it's going to be which he doesn't really get a chance to be kind of the main star of a film.
Right.
So
Yeah,
for this
that's
to
what I
be
was gonna say.
Totoro, it looks like he's really getting a chance to kind of show everything he can do. So
Agreed.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
looks interesting.
I'm on board. I love it. I think it looks great. Excited to see it. I hope it's good. And yeah, no. I mean, so films we've been watching and talking about even like lately, like you mentioned that film Relay.
Yes.
From last year or a year and a half ago. We did Tuner recently.
Yes.
These kind of in the city, people who perform things outside of the boundaries of the law, but
Sure.
yet they're having to either kind of come around and reevaluating their life a little bit. It just, I don't know. There seems to be kind of a rash of those films and that style. And this seems to be a little bit in that same vein. And,
Sure.
But I like John Turturro so much.
I do too.
And I'm excited to see it. So
And
let's-
see him have like a lead.
Yeah.
Like he's the
Yeah, it could
central
be really
character.
good.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, that is our news section, trailers and news, all that good stuff. So with that, we are done with the main body of the show, but we come to the dessert, the epilogue, the curtain call, whatever you want to call it. That is Chris's recommendation of a film for us here at the end of the episode. So Chris, what do you have to recommend for us today?
So I saw this film after I'd seen The Last House, and it was kind of a reminder of here's a kind of similar in Last House. It has like kind of a big idea premise. Difference being this one was very well executed. Everything at the end of the day made sense, even though the villain of the film is kind of fantastical and weird, and you have to buy into the fact that this thing could exist. It's the 2022 film Nope by Jordan Peele. Plotline for it is residents in a lonely gulch of inland California bear witness to an uncanny, chilling discovery that then they're at risk of being killed by this thing. Just suffice it to say, it's kind of, if you haven't seen the film for some reason, it's like an alien that haunts the skies or aliens that haunt the sky. Just kind of leave it at that. But watching it again, hadn't seen it in a while since it had come out in 2022. Just made me realize how well plotted the film is and how little things that occur kind of come back around and really make sense. Or like, you needed to see that happen, and then kind of like later in the film, like at the end of the film,
Yeah.
It's just really expertly done. The shots are expertly done. The acting, I think it was my first introduction to Keke Palmer, who plays Daniel Kaluuya, their brother and sister. And I think it was the first time I'd really seen her. And she is just so, you're just like, who is this person? Because
sure.
she's just like so, got this really big presence on screen. And of course, now she's done a lot of stuff. Just really well. And the casting down to, there's a kind of a cinematographer that they end up having to recruit to try to capture on film some things that are happening. Michael Wincott, don't know anything. I mean, I feel like I have seen him in other things, but his presence on screen in this movie, his voice does the majority of everything it needs to do.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's got this really gravelly voice. And if you saw him, you'd be like, oh yeah, that guy. I think in most films he usually plays probably a grizzled bad guy. He's not a bad guy in this. And it's also just fun because it's inside Hollywood, because the brother and sister, they work as horse wranglers for Hollywood. So there's just a lot of, he has a jacket because he worked on Scorpion King with his dad at the time. So, there's just a lot of like references. There's a motorcycle skid towards the end of the film that is actually a reference to anime film Akira that I used to watch like back in high school. So you can just tell Jordan Peele really loves movies, is really into what he's doing. And I think this is one of his best. And also I was watching it because at some point, I think in 2027, we may see a new Jordan Peele joint.
Yeah, that's another one. I mean, just like I bring up Ari Aster, I'm equally fascinated to see whatever Jordan Peele movie we get next. I mean, was Nope his last one?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing is like he did Get Out, which, really well.
Get Out, he did Us,
and then he did Nope. And so like
it's just the three that he made.
Yeah, and his films for me just keep getting better. And they're different. they're very different, but they have some themes in there.
Similar stuff going on, but yeah, different genres to kind of play with in each of those, and or subgenres within kind of horror drama.
Yeah, like all of
stuff.
them. Obviously, the clear thing is
No, but
they all talk about race and stuff like that. But like
Nope is one I need to
that.
go back and see again. I did like it a lot when I saw it, but I was a bit overwhelmed by it because it's got a lot going on.
It does.
It actually goes in places later in the film that I did not expect. And
Correct.
So, yes, I need to go back and watch it again.
And I looked in Letterboxd. I'd only seen it twice. I'd seen it twice in the theater. My first experience, I gave it like 3.5. I said, yeah, I liked it, but there were some things I didn't quite. There was so much going on.
There was a lot.
Went back and saw it a second time. I'm like, nope, this is 5 stars. What didn't hold me back the first time? There's a side plot, you could say, with a 1990s sitcom show that has a chimp that is used.
Yeah.
And the first time through, you're just like, okay, like, could you just have cut that out? But no, because there's things in there about animal behavior. Like,
Right.
But then the first time through, you're just like, this is too much.
See, that's
This
the kind
is
of
too
stuff
much,
I need to go back and process. I remember having the longest conversation about that film leaving the theater.
Okay.
With the people I went with.
Okay.
Like, I remember talking about it for a really long time because it's like there was just so much
There's
to
a lot.
process.
There's a lot.
And so many scenes. There's one scene in particular, a sequence that still is in my head, and it's jarring. It's the, I'll just say the person getting consumed.
Yes.
Or,
Sure.
but yes.
Yeah.
That, as someone who does not do good with very tight spaces and all that, a little claustrophobic. Yeah. That's,
Yep. And see, that's the thing is second time through, you kind of know what's coming.
Yeah.
But watching it this third time that I did, I was actually surprised at how well things were fitting together. I just was like, oh, no, that totally, like I remember things that were coming up, but then when they came up and they were integrated as well as they were, I was like, dude, this is so good. So yeah, Nope. It is on Netflix. So
well, there you go.
So there you go, Netflix. You have some content that you brought into the system. Yeah.
Make the choice.
That's
are
right.
you going to watch The Last House, or are you going to go back and watch Nope on Netflix?
There you
And
go. It's a
Chris
choice.
definitely has an opinion on which way you should go if you have the choice.
I do.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap us up for today. Thank you for the recommendation, Chris. And thank you for everybody for listening. I think we can go ahead and say, I know we haven't had our off-air production meeting, but safe to say we are going to review The End of Oak Street
Okay.
next week. So
All right.
I'm looking for a nodding of affirmation. Is
Sure.
that correct? Okay, good.
So listeners, if you want to get a jump on our review next week or whatever, you can
go see
that as well.
Go check that out. That is going to be, that's the latest film from director
David Robert Mitchell.
David Robert Mitchell, which we remember and know from films like It Follows, Under the Silver Lake. So yeah, it'd be I'm interested to see what he does with this type of film.
I think this is going to be, so he's made, I think this will be his fourth one. I never saw The Great American Sleepover.
Yeah, that was the only one I didn't mention there of his.
He did It Follows, which I loved. And then he did Under the Silver Lake, which I'm trying to remember the date on that. I don't know if it was around COVID or right after, but I don't feel like
2018.
Okay, so it was right before. It was before. But that one didn't make as big a splash. Right. And so this one I feel like in a way is kind of like a make or break. It's like, okay, let's see if you can get some
It
of
Follows
the
got him a little bit of a cult following because it was a kind of it was a small independent horror film, but got good feedback and people really liked it. And it's actually even spawned the idea of a sequel, which I think he is also attached to. Possibly They Follow instead of It Follows. So yeah, but I agree. I think with Under the Silver Lake not really gelling and not getting quite as good acclaim as It Follows. I mean, and the fact that this one's got big stars, it's got Anne Hathaway, it's got Ewan McGregor, and it's a freaking dinosaur movie. It's like, all right, like I want to see what you can do with this kind of thing. J.J. Abrams is a producer.
Doesn't he have some producer
He's
weight
a producer
there?
on it.
Okay.
I want to see what he can do with a quote big movie, type.
Yeah.
And we'll see. Yeah. But Chris, being a movie theater owner and manager, I also know one little piece of information about The End of Oak Street that will make it very appealing to you when you go to the theater to see it this weekend. It is a tidy 1 hour and 39 minutes long.
Nice.
Yep. There you go. So just have at that. We're actually getting a dinosaur movie that is under an hour and 45 minutes. So,
Cool.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm on board just for that reason.
There you go. All right. Good deal. Well, we're going to review The End of Oak Street and see if that hour and 45 minutes holds up or not in our review next week. But until then, thanks for listening, everybody. Oh, Chris, how can people get a hold of us and talk to us if they wish to about anything we talked about here?
Sure. Tell us what you thought of the ins and outs of chimney fishing if you see that film.
Have you started chimney fishing yourself?
That's right.
It could be the next rage that everybody's all into is doing.
So you can contact us by sending us an email to info@footcandle.org or leave us a voicemail at the mesh.tv website, where you can also check out past Foot Candle Film episodes as well as other podcasts on various subjects from barbecue to comedy to mental health. We're also on Facebook at Foot Candle Film Society and other social platforms as Foot Candle Film. Do us a favor. If you like the show, consider leaving us a review on whatever platform you receive your favorite podcasts on, because it'll help us reach new listeners. We'd appreciate that. And the 2026 Foot Candle Film Festival is coming up from September 18th through the 27th. You can find out more information about the festival at footcandlefilmfestival.com. You can see a schedule. You can get tickets. We would encourage you, if you're going to be in Western North Carolina during that time frame, to come check us out. It's going to be a good one.
All right. That'll do it then. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.
See you in the ticket line.
Watch films in the company of like-minded people in the dark. Watch films in the underground. We won't let anyone know where you are. The films that don't make it to Carmike at the mall, or ones that were famous when Grandpa would watch films out of the reverence of the heritage of an art. Watch films through the courtesy of Foot Candle Film Society.
Special thanks to Carpal Tuller for the show theme music. For more about Carpal Tuller, visit www.carpaltuller.com. You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.